Good evening, Brazos Valley. Thanks for joining us for KAGS News at 6. I'm William Johnson. President Franklin D. Roosevelt said December 17, 1941 would be a day that would live on in infamy. The day the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor and catapulted the United States into the Second World War was 80 years ago today, and we honor that day today. President Biden and the First Lady visited the World War II Memorial in the nation's capital today. As the couple approached, the president touched the wreath and saluted. 21 ships on the Pacific Fleet were sunk or damaged. The USS Arizona lost more than 1,100 crewmen and more than 2,400 Americans were killed. Today, a Pearl Harbor survivor and a local chapter of Wreaths Across America gathered, placing a wreath above the graves of former President George H.W. Bush and former First Lady Barbara Bush. The survivor saying he remembers the events leading up to the attack and the moments that followed. On the morning of December 7, 1941, Horace Hamilton, a Navy seaman stationed in Pearl Harbor, says he saw planes on the horizon, thinking it was a training exercise. It wasn't until him and his fellow shipmates saw the red sun rising on the aircraft that they all realized they were under attack.
It was a terrible waste of human life and of destruction of our ships.
The survivor says he was on the USS Phoenix watching the bombs drop from the air on the Arizona.
In the Arizona, when she was bombed, about a 5,000-pound bomb went right on through her, went down about 4 decks. She rose up out of the water and then came back down and shuddered, and that was it.
Being 17 years old at the time of the attack, Hamilton looks back on the 80th anniversary of the attack, saying he remembers every moment, the lives that were lost, and the hope that began to sink.
The ships caught on fire, and then the oil caught on fire, and the men trying to swim through the fiery oil. I'll never forget those things.
Now the veteran is paying tribute to former President George H.W. Bush, who was the same age as Hamilton at the time of the attack. The 97-year-old saying that this isn't the first time he's honored the former commander-in-chief.
I think there was 5 of us, of the Pearl Harbor survivors, that came over here and dedicated this for the president.
Hamilton says that although it's been 80 years, he says teachers and parents need to inform kids on what happened, saying young people need to know about the attacks even if they weren't there, so that future generations don't forget its importance.
The young people do not have the education about World War II, and they should.
December 7th, 1941, 2,403 lives lost, and a story that will continue to live on. Horace is one of the remaining Pearl Harbor survivors still alive, and he's still continuing to educate people about the attack on Pearl Harbor.